Let me explain exactly what happens in the compressor circuit as temperature rises. The compressor takes its lower pressure refrigerant vapor and compresses it to high pressure. That high pressure refrigerant goes to the outdoor condenser where it rejects heat to the outdoor air. If outdoor temperature is 46 degrees Celsius, the condenser has to reject heat to 46 degrees Celsius air. For heat to flow from refrigerant to air, the refrigerant inside the condenser must be at a higher temperature, maybe 52 degrees Celsius, maybe 55 degrees Celsius. And for R32 refrigerant to be at 55 degrees Celsius in the condenser, the condensing pressure must be very high, around 35 to 38 bar absolute pressure. Higher condensing pressure means the compressor must work much harder, more torque, higher current draw to compress refrigerant against that pressure, same or less cooling output, more electricity input, COP drops. Now, the outdoor unit has a separate control board, PCB. This PCB monitors multiple sensors simultaneously: discharge temperature sensor, condenser outlet temperature sensor, outdoor ambient sensor. Apart from this, compressor current, and it controls the compressor frequency, the outdoor fan motor speed, and various protection functions. At extreme outdoor temperatures, this PCB starts receiving signals that multiple limits are being approached. Discharge temperature getting too high, condensing pressure reaching the safety thresholds, the PCB then intervenes. It can reduce compressor frequency, it can increase outdoor fan speed, and in extreme cases, it can trigger a protection shutdown. When the PCB reduces compressor frequency to protect the system, your AC is now delivering less cooling capacity than rated. The room gets cooler more slowly. You feel uncomfortable. The compressor is running, consuming electricity, but doing less work than it should. And none of this protection behavior, none of this PCB intervention logic is captured anywhere in the ISCER number. All right, you now understand the physics and you have seen the numbers. What can you actually do to reduce that bill? Five things, each directly connected to the physics we just covered. Number one, keep set temperature at 24 degrees Celsius or above. Never go lower. Remember, delta T is T outdoor minus T indoor. Every degree you drop the indoor set point, you increase delta T by 1. COP decreases, power consumption increases, your bill goes up. Going from 24 degrees Celsius to 20 degrees Celsius set point increases delta T by 4 degrees. At 46 degrees Celsius outdoor, that takes its delta T from 22 to 26. Check the table we just built. COP drops from 2.51 to 2.20. That's another rupees 480 per month on top of what you're already paying. The government of India mandated 24 degrees Celsius as the default setting from January 2020 SO 3897E. There is real physics behind that number. Use it. Number two, shade your outdoor unit from direct sunlight without blocking airflow. The condenser coil rejects heat to the surrounding air. If the outdoor unit is in direct sunlight, the surface temperature and the air immediately around it can be 5 to 8 degrees Celsius higher than ambient. So, at 44 degrees Celsius ambient with direct sun, effective condensing temperature could be 49 to 52 degrees. Run that through the COP formula, delta T increases, COP drops further, bill goes higher. A simple shade structure, netting, a small roof extension that blocks direct sun on the unit but keeps airflow completely free can noticeably reduce this effect. Critically, do not enclose the unit or restrict airflow. That will make everything worse. Number 3, clean the outdoor condenser coil and indoor unit filter every season. Do it in March. A dirty condenser coil, dust, debris, lint in the fins reduces heat transfer coefficient. Same amount of heat, but harder to reject. Condensing pressure rises. PCB works the compressor harder. More electricity. A dirty indoor filter restricts airflow through the evaporator. Airflow drops in that formula. Less cooling, worse humidity removal, and if severely restricted, the evaporator can ice up, which stops cooling entirely and can trigger PCB protection shutdown. Remember, you have to do in March before peak summer every year. Number 4, maintain the manufacturer specified clearance for your outdoor unit from the back wall and sides. Every installation manual specifies minimum wall clearances. This is for airflow. Insufficient gap causes the hot discharge air from the front of the unit to recirculate back into the inlet from the sides and back. The unit ends up trying to reject heat to air that has already been heated by itself. Effective ambient temperature rises. PCB sees elevated condensing pressure, compressor load increases, more electricity, less cooling, faster component wear. Check at installation. If it's wrong, which many installations are, correct it. Last, number 5, never block indoor unit airflow. I repeat, never block indoor unit airflow. Curtains near the indoor unit, furniture in the front of it, a blocked filter, all reduces airflow. In that formula, Q is density multiplied by airflow multiplied by H1 minus H2. Airflow drops, Q drops. AC runs, draws electricity, delivers less, and with reduced airflow, sensible heat removal suffers and latent heat removal worsens further, making the humidity problem we discussed even worse. Now, let me give you the industry perspective why all of these exists. Indian consumers are extremely price sensitive. In a market as competitive as room AC, every component cost matters. If manufacturers built ACs that genuinely perform well at 46 degrees Celsius outdoor, properly sized condensers, bigger evaporator coils, compressors rated for sustained high ambient operation, cost goes up significantly. The pressure is always to optimize for what BEE tests, which is ISCER, which is calculated at conditions peaking at 35 degrees Celsius, weighted heavily towards 27 to 28 degrees Celsius. If your AC performs well at those conditions, the label looks great. What happens at 46 degrees Celsius is not reflected in the rating. Compressors are generally rated at a specific frequency where they give highest efficiency. To deliver rated cooling capacity at that frequency efficiently, the surrounding system, that is condenser coil, evaporator coil, must be sized accordingly. Cutting coil size saves money. ISCER might still look acceptable because the lab test is at 35 degrees Celsius with fixed indoor conditions. The customer only discovers the gap in May. But BEE is responding. Look at how thresholds have been raised every rating cycle. SO 3897E 2019, SO 2794E 2024, and SO 3984E August 2025. The minimum 1-star ISCER for split ACs has gone from 3.10 in 2018 to 3.80 by 2028, and from 2028, 1-star is explicitly banned for inverter and variable capacity ACs. If your AC has a variable speed compressor and ISCER is below 4.30, it cannot be sold. Today's 5-star ISCER of 5.60 will be 4-star by 2028. The bar keeps rising. This is it, guys. If this video gave you something real, share it. And if you have engineering questions, leave them in the comments. I will answer the technical ones. See you in the next one.